question, but there's always turnover in college football. But I mean, the top 3 teams in college football right now are turning over at the same time, pressing a reset button at quarterback. Is that a unique thing that you've seen in your coaching career to see this many teams have a reset button, basically?
I think it's hard because really good quarterbacks leave after the 3rd year. So the turnover is almost every year, every 2 years, and that's a challenge. I mean, it really is a challenge to develop a young quarterback and bring him along. And there's just a lot of things along the way that they have to learn. And so, the minute you get them to where you want, they're off to the NFL. And I think that a lot of programs share that same not frustration. It's just the way it is. So we have to embrace that and continue to develop young quarterbacks, and that's a big part of it. But it's not just quarterbacks; it's a lot of other positions as well. Guys have the opportunity to move on, and then you have to just replace guys, and that's where recruiting is so important. So you can get frustrated with it, but the bottom line is you just have to adapt and keep moving forward.
Does it lessen the challenge at all when everybody else is doing the exact same thing at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, you see it, so you just have to continue to adapt to it and adjust the best you can, and that's why it's so important to come out of the gate strong and have a great preseason and become game ready early on, and you can get out of the gates fast.
Second row middle, Nathan.
We had heard, on the quarterbacks, we had heard that through that process you were kind of trying to rattle those guys a little bit, I guess, to sort of, see how they would respond to that. How much of that was for your pressure testing that you had to do to pick a starter, and how much of it was what a team would see from those scenarios and what they would gain from that?
Yeah, I don't know who told you that, but if that's rattling, wait till they get into a game and go 3-and-out. It's hard to be quarterback around here, and so it's our job as coaches to make sure that the practice is a lot harder than the game. If you can survive practice, then the game's easy, and so we have to, and it's like that at every position. You have to understand the consequences. It's not just, well, I'll just get the next play. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. And that's what competitive excellence is all about. So, that's our goal here, and always has been, to make whoever it is, whatever position, practice harder than a game.
What did you like about CJ's response to those scenarios?
I think he's had good days, he's had bad days, but he's grown every day. He's come in, he has an edge, he wants to be really good. He's very competitive, and so now it's time to go put it on the field. He's going to have to work through all the things of being a quarterback, like when to take care of the ball, when to cut your losses. He's going to get hit along the way. He's going to have to show toughness, just like Justin did last year. All the things that will come along with playing, and he will. I think we all believe in him. I think the team believes in him, and we're all there to help him.
Did you need to see a response from the rest of the team to him? Is that something you're trying to pay attention to through this process? Like who the guys are responding to?
I think that there's all pieces of the puzzle. It's a big giant picture, and you use different things to try to piece that together. And some guys are good at some things, and other guys need a little help in other areas, and you just continue to develop them.
Over here, far right, Whitney.
Hey Ron, you mentioned that prepping for this game goes all about spring, and it's been a while to get here. Do you like starting the season in conference play and getting going quickly? It's something for the guys to really prep for, or would you rather ease in just a little bit?
I'll tell you after Thursday night's game. If you win the game, then you got one in your pocket. Obviously, if you don't, then you got a lot of work to do. But whether you like it or not, it is what it is, and we just have to figure out every year what the schedule looks like and how to adapt to it. And a lot of that is who you play early, but a lot of it too is your team. Do you have a veteran team coming back? Do you have some young guys in certain spots, and how do you bring them along? Because we do have some veteran players here too that I think have been practicing really, really well, and it's going to be important when you go into an environment like this that they play in these environments to play veteran and to show leadership, and that's something that we really need going into this game. Guys like Chris Olave and Zach Harrison and Haskell Garrett, and people who have played in these environments. Josh Proctor's played in a bunch of big games. When you look up to a guy who's been in this spot before and been in big games and played night games and conference games, there's a little bit of confidence that can come off of those guys, and that they can impart to the other players. And so that's something we're looking for when you open up a game like this.
And some of the young guys that you have been watching during the summer fall camp, Jack Sawyer, are we going to get to see him in this first game, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to play depth there, and Larry's gonna, travel maybe, 12 or 13 of those D linemen. We're limited on how many guys we can bring, and actually we have a lot of depth there, so, we're gonna have to make some hard decisions as we head over the next couple of days, but, if they're going on the bus and they're coming on the plane, then we're gonna put them in the game.
Deep right, Spencer.
Brian, you talk about Jack playing depth and getting guys in on the defensive line. When you try to replace a guy like Tommy, you're going against a heavy run team like this. What have you seen out of Teron and those guys, Antoine in the middle, that makes you think that they can play beside Haskell and make it?
I mean, I've been impressed with our day-to-day work that our offensive line and defensive line have gone at it pretty hard, especially in the preseason, and Antoine and Teron and Haskell, Ty Hamilton, even the young guys have done a nice job. Tyleek and Mike Hall, just see those guys getting off the blocks, getting pushed back, running to the football, and there's some depth there, so they can play fresh. I think that's important. I think, like you said, to have 50 or 60 plays on one guy, that can be a lot. But when you have guys that you can roll in and out, then the goal is to keep them fresh, and that's one thing Larry does a great job of.
Fourth row middles, Patrick.
Ryan, throughout camp, you've brought up being game ready quite a bit, and you've sort of touched on it at various positions, but just in general, do you feel this team is game ready 3 days out?
It's time to play, yeah. I mean, I guess we could prepare for another week, but I think they're tired of hitting each other. You've heard that year in, year out going into the first game, but that's true. It's time to go play. I think that we're as prepared as we're going to be, and now it's time to go put it on the field and then come in the day after, make the corrections, and continue to build.
And we've talked about the secondary a lot throughout camp, but some of the younger guys, specifically Ryan and Letchen, where are they in that process of filling that void kind of left by some of the guys that depart?
Yeah, I mean, how much they play, who knows? I think that's still yet to be kind of figured out as the game goes on, but they're going to play. They're going to be in the game. They flashed at times. I mean, they're all still working on things to get better at, but they've done good things. And consistency is the key, especially with those two guys. It's like bringing home an A in math. You can do it. Now you got to do it all the time. And once they continue to do that, they're both going to be very, very good players. But they're going to get their opportunity in the game on Thursday night, and when they do, they got to make them count.
Second row right, Tim.
This is my question, but is the beard here to stay?
It's not.
What's that?
No, it has to go probably the next 24 hours. I'm not going to coach with a beard. I'm too superstitious. So I'd like to. Tim, I thought long and hard about it. My wife and I had a conversation about it, but I'm not taking that chance. So, especially starting with a conference game, beard has to go.
Okay, cleared that up. Can you tell Josh Proctor and Seven Banks, I mean, what just has jumped out at you in this preseason? I'm not sure how much Seven has gotten to work, but I mean, what's jumped out at you that these guys have played and you do expect them to take it to another level?
Yeah, we're counting on that. I mean, these are veteran guys. Again, like I said, we've played in big games before. They've done big things. You think about, Seven and Brock. I mean, I can name probably 10 different plays that they've made in games. And so, we need those guys to step up, not only leadership-wise, but like you said, that veteran presence. So that's very, very important. And that's going to be, we'll only be as good as they can come along this season and show that, make plays and have that presence on the field.
And Marvin Harrison Jr. and Mika Buka and maybe Jaden Butler, if they played themselves into playing on Thursday night, I mean, are they in the rotation, I guess?
Yeah, Mecca and Martin for sure. Jaden, possibly get an opportunity. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the six of Chris, Jackson, Garrett, Julian, Mecca, and Marv, I mean, they're all going to play, and they all deserve to play.
And we'll close up, third row left, questions with Doug.
Ryan, you said you told the guys it's about being 1-0, just getting through this game, but 2 years here, you guys made the playoff, both years with you as head coach. Everybody here knows the expectations and the potential and the standard here. How do you just address that at this point in the season with anybody, with your team? Because they know they need to go 1-0, but they also know this is Ohio State, and you always have big goals.
Yeah, because that's, you can't get anywhere down the road if you don't win this game. And so and that has to be it. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be, anything other than just a gritty win on the road, and you put that in the bank and you continue to build. It needs to be a start, and that's all that matters on this thing. And so we just got to stick together, because you just don't know in the first game what's coming. And so, again, when you go into a game, first game, you start to play in your mind, okay, this is going to happen, or I'm going to get 3 sacks, or I'm going to run for this, or I'm going to catch this, or I'm going to throw these kind of touchdowns, and rarely does it work out that way. So let's just focus on sticking together, taking it one play at a time, and we'll look up at the end of the game and see where we're at.
And again, this is like asking if you're thinking big picture when clearly you're trying to keep your guys focused. But for a guy like CJ, Justin in his second year as a college football player came here, and you guys made the playoff that year. He played really well. And JT Barrett, his second year as a college football player, was a starting quarterback for a team that made the playoff and won the national championship. Is there any once CJ's been the starter now, is there any context conversations you've had with him, or do you not want him thinking that way? It's just do your job?
Yeah, because that doesn't really have anything to do with him. I mean, I guess you can look at what's been before and the blueprints that have been set, but, if we don't take care of the football and do a good job on third down, the red zone, then none of that stuff matters. You have to go play. And just because you're, Ohio State, or just because you're the quarterback doesn't necessarily mean it's just going to happen. It's not magic. You can't just throw it. Minnesota's a very, very good team. PJ Fleck's a very good coach, and it's going to be hard to win this game. And our guys have to understand that. And they will. They do. We have their attention on this. We've been talking about this for a long time. A conference game right out of the gate, young quarterback. They got it. We have their attention on this thing. So we know it's going to be hard, and we're just going to continue, like I said, take it one play at a time. Again, it's cliche, but it's real. Because if you worry about what's coming next, then you're going to get distracted on what's now.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.